Well, the month that we've all been hyping up for a very long time is finally here, and that is the month of December. So the question is, are we going to continue to have increased winter storm chances moving forward? And I think we will. We got one ongoing right now that we need to figure out. We'll spend a little bit of time on this in the first half of the video, and then we'll switch gears and move a little bit deeper into the month of December, where I'm already watching other winter storm chances on down the road, including one risk for this weekend that could be very tricky across areas of the eastern U.S. But we'll discuss the pattern. We'll geek out with you guys a little bit and just have some fun doing it. So my name is Mitch. Good Monday evening. Hope you guys are doing well and have had a wonderful start to your work week. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything I can pray about or pray over, please drop it in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling tonight. So we have this ongoing winter weather event right now. A little bit of a wintry mix, sort of in areas of Missouri, Arkansas. I'm seeing some reports of a little bit of sleet down here in areas of Tennessee, Kentucky, even a couple snow reports in western Kentucky. Let me know what you're seeing in this area. I would love to know in the comments. This is all snow in the blue across areas of the Midwest, and this is starting to take over the state of Ohio now, and it's on its way to the Northeast, where we're going to get a swath of accumulating snow across certain areas of New England. It does look like the I-95 corridor from DC up to Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston is going to stay mainly rain, but it could be close. So we're about to provide all the details on this. A much needed rainstorm moving across areas of the deep south, and it's about to move into my neck of the woods, expecting a rainy night here where I live here in central South Carolina. We haven't had hardly any rain over the last month, so we are certainly looking forward to it. But this is the system we're tracking right now. Already can see some more energy entering the picture out west, but let's continue to move forward. Watches, warnings, and advisories, all these areas in purple, this is just winter weather advisories. So as of right now, not a winter storm criteria type snowstorm across all these areas, but that changes once you get into New England. See these areas in pink? That is winter storm warnings. We're expecting heavy snowfall accumulations in these areas. Now, is this going to be some historic snowstorm? Absolutely not, but I do think some areas could overachieve in New England. We'll speak on that as we go. So let's go over the latest HRRR model run. And this is a short range model, and we're going to start this off with around 1 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're in Central time, back it up an hour, but the time frame is up here. And let's make sure we can get this in motion. The blue is snow, the purple you see sort of sleet, and then the pink is more so freezing rain. And of course, the green and the yellows down here is rain and heavy rain. So we're getting a little bit of freezing rain in the favorite areas in the eastern slopes of the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. This is all snow up here in Indiana, Ohio, and this is moving in now if it hasn't already moved in by the time you're watching this video. Got a little bit of snow and some lake effect snow up here in areas of lower Michigan. We got kind of a finger of snow moving into areas of northwest PA and then the southern tier and western areas in New York State. Now, I do think later tonight, Evansville to Louisville, Cincinnati could switch to some heavy wet snow for a period. Even western areas of Kentucky, maybe even northwestern areas of Tennessee. So please let me know what you end up seeing tonight. I would be staying up if I lived in that area, just being a winter weather fan myself. But as we continue to move to daybreak tomorrow, this is around 5 to 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. A solid wintry mix ongoing in Roanoke, Lynchburg, Charlottesville, certainly in the highlands of West Virginia, and still probably hanging on to a little bit of freezing rain down here in the Boone, Banner Elk area, maybe near Mount Mitchell. But check it out. Once we get to the Cumberland Plateau, could switch to a brief period of a wintry mix of sleet or snow, maybe a little bit of freezing rain kind of east of Nashville, ending out some snow in western, central to eastern areas of Kentucky. This is all snow tomorrow morning at around 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning in Ohio. Northern areas of West Virginia, it's all snow. Look at Pittsburgh, finally getting an all snow event, it looks like. Just not a huge snowstorm by any means. A little bit of lake effect snow ongoing off Lake Michigan. And on this specific run, it does start off as a period of maybe some snow in DC for like an hour, but I'm not sold on that happening. And then let's go on and get a little bit closer here. Still hanging on to a wintry mix down here in these favorite areas of the Central Alps. We're starting to get to about 7 a.m. Then we start to take it to about mid to late morning. All snow in Harrisburg. All snow in, say, Gettysburg and Reading. Or Reading. I always forget how y'all pronounce that. Pretty much all of New York, but New York City getting snow. The Poconos, the Catskills, it's all rain in Delaware, and the Tidewater to Delmarva. But like I said, the Catskills, Poconos, northern areas of New Jersey could get some heavy wet snow. This is all snow in interior areas of New England, and we continue to move forward, and it looks to be all rain in New York City, Long Island, even Bridgeport, Hartford. You might start off with snow, but then go to rain, Boston, all rain, Providence, all rain, certainly all rain out in Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and all that. And Concord, you guys are definitely getting heavy wet snow. Albany, the Worcester Hills are probably getting some snow. Berkshires, which extend down into northwestern areas of Connecticut. And we keep this going. We're all the way into early afternoon tomorrow. It's all snow in Augusta. Bangor, Portland, you're right on the fringe. Could get heavy wet snow, could get rain, could get a mixture of both. And then this is really starting to move into Nova Scotia, New Brunswick as we start to move into tomorrow night. And then we're about done. I could see us switching to a period of heavy wet snow late tomorrow night across Boston. You can see a little bit of snow to end it, but overall 95% of the storm will probably be rain as of what we see now. Now, as far as snow totals, we're going to switch it back from Pivotal Weather to the National Weather Service sites just because I want to get a little up and close and personal with some of these graphics with you folks. But the Ohio graphic is wonderful. It shows many towns and cities. Cleveland going for around 4 inches. This snow's starting to move into the western areas of the state now. Cincinnati going for about 3 inches of snow, so they've increased some of these totals. Columbus, 3 to 4 inches of snow. Canton, 3 to 4. So the general theme is around 2 to as much as 4 inches of snow across the state of Ohio. Let's move it a little bit further south. And, I mentioned about the tricky spot in northern Kentucky. And I thought that we could overachieve. And they have increased the forecast snowfall totals for areas of northern Kentucky. Elizabethtown, 2.5 inches. Louisville, 2 to 3. Lexington, 2 to 3 inches of snow now forecast. They bumped it up to 0.2 of an inch of snow in Clarksville, Tennessee. Paducah, about 0.4 of an inch. Bowling Green, a half inch to 1 inch of snow. Eastern Kentucky, they're not calling for much at all. And I'm going to try to look at the ice totals here. It might log me out. It didn't, so that's good. A little bit of a glaze is possible. This is probably happening right now in western areas of Kentucky. And some freezing rain is also possible in favored areas here and northeastern sections of Kentucky where maybe as much as 1/10 of an inch of ice could happen. I would watch for the northern counties of Tennessee for a wintry mix overnight tonight as all this precipitation is exiting the region. Now, we could get a touch of snow in these areas you see here overnight tonight. Roanoke going for around 1/10. Lexington, 1/10 of an inch or 3/10 of an inch. Charlottesville, same thing. I could see us starting off with a snow-sleet mixture in here. It doesn't have sleet accumulations, and I normally count snow and sleet together. But it's really the freezing rain in this area that's the biggest concern. And this is kind of a few hour old graphic, but I don't think it's going to change much. But the areas you see in orange, that's where we can get over 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. The red areas, that's where we could push over 2/10 to 1/4 inch of freezing rain. Boone, they're going for over 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain now. Mount Airy, a few 1/100ths of an inch. So definitely notable freezing rain. Just an all-out wintry mix in this area tomorrow for sure. So somebody in the comments this morning put, you never mentioned the Blue Ridge of Virginia. I'm pretty sure I've showed this graphic like every video. That is one of the strangest comments I get is people get so upset when you don't mention specific states. But I think I am probably the most detailed person on YouTube that speaks about weather and how I show each and every graphic. I mean, look, I got about 1,000 tabs pulled up for y'all. So just like I said, just make your way throughout the video and you're going to get the information you're looking for. Northern areas of West Virginia, a few inches of wet snow. Morgantown, 1 or 2 inches of snow. Wheeling, 3 to 4 inches of snow. Charleston, they're not going for any right now. But we'll look at the freezing rain, and there it is. Doesn't show a lot of town names on here, but it's the favored areas of the Highlands, eastern slopes of West Virginia. That's going to see notable ice totals with this. And then we bump it over to the D.C. area, not calling for any snow here. Maybe 1/10 of an inch of snow in Baltimore. Frederick, maybe a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Hagerstown, 2 inches. Cumberland, 2-3 inches of snow. You get in the western areas of Maryland, someone can get 2 to 4 inches of snow for sure. A little bit of ice is possible in this region too. A glaze, but not a whole lot. Then we move into PA. Just about everybody in the state of Pennsylvania is going to get accumulating snow. State College, 4.5 inches. Pittsburgh, 3 to 4 inches, and it's on the way right now. Scranton, 3-4 inches of snow. Some of these higher elevated regions, a few 100 feet make a huge difference in these type of setups when you don't have a lot of cold air to work with. But Allentown, 2-3 inches of snow. Lancaster, 1 inch or 2. Down here in South Carolina, we call it Lancaster. We have a Lancaster too, but we call it Lancaster. Harrisburg, 3 to 4 inches of snow. You get closer to Poconos, a few more inches of wet snow is certainly possible to likely. Philadelphia, think my face was in the way. Wilmington, a half an inch to an inch of snow. Northern areas of Delaware could get a little accumulation. We'll see. And then the southern areas of New England, Worcester going for 4 inches of snow. Fitchburg, 8 inches. So big. I wouldn't call it a big, but this will be your biggest snowstorm of the season, certainly so far. Berkshire is going to get theirs. Over a half a foot of snow is possible. Hartford going for around an inch. In Boston, they're going for about an inch of snow right now, but don't expect a lot. But the further west you get, the more snow you're going to get. You don't have to drive far west of Boston to see more appreciable snowfall totals. The entire state of New York, Buffalo, 4 inches. Jamestown, 5 inches. We got a lot of snow on the ground already south of Buffalo. Binghamton, about 5 inches of snow. Syracuse, same area, got a lot of snow on the ground in these areas already. Syracuse, 4 to 5 inches. Watertown, 3 inches. Albany, going for a good 7 inches of snow. So the Adirondacks is what you're looking at. And then for my family here in Vermont, certainly a lot of snow. Brattleboro, 10 inches of snow is what they're calling for. Springfield, 8 to 9 inches of snow. So, and then we rounded off with New Hampshire and Maine. New Hampshire, Concord, 9 to 10 inches of snow. Plymouth, 8 to 9 inches of snow. Portsmouth, 3 inches of snow. But you're going up the road to Sanford, 8 to 9 inches. So it changes a lot. But this is going to be a hot spot right here for snow, cold spot, I guess you would say. Augusta, 7 inches. But if you get right up near the coastline of Maine, it drops off fast. Could have big time mixing issues. And then we take a look at the rest of Maine, guys. And the down east areas of Maine, certainly good for 6 to 8 inches of snow or so. You get on up further north and you just have plenty of cold air but not enough moisture. So let's go on and figure out our next winter weather event. So this is starting off Thursday morning. A little bit of cold air kind of in place. Shows some snow. And let's see if we have the latest 18Z Euro. And we do. I just don't know if we have enough of it to show this entire run. But same thing, shows a band of light to moderate snow across Amarillo, areas of New Mexico, the panhandle of Oklahoma dropping down, and even shows some snow north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but a little bit of light snow showing up midday Thursday in the southern areas of Oklahoma. And a lot of times this ends up verifying a little bit more a little bit more moisture on what's being modeled. So we continue to go forward. Even shows a little light snow in Little Rock Thursday evening. We'll see if that ends up happening. And then check it out in Tennessee. A little bit of snow starting to break out. Let's go on and move it to here. And unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to have the entirety of the run. Let's hope we do. And then we start to get into late Thursday night. Look at this little bit of snow showing up in Tennessee. You're right on the fringe of the cold air. And sure enough, the latest run starts to break out. A little bit of light snow in Nashville, and then some snow in the favored cold air damming regions of the Piedmont, North Carolina, the foothills, and certainly just east of the Appalachian Mountains. And we keep this going, and that is some moderate snow breaking out Friday morning across areas of North Carolina. So this is the latest fresh information. I mean, this model run is still running. And even some snow showing up in Raleigh, kind of north of the Charlotte area. And shows a decent, this is definitely a moderate winter weather event for southern standards, breaking out across areas of North Carolina and southern Virginia. And then, this is as far as we got. No, we don't. We got a little bit more. But we're getting into Friday evening, and this little bit of snow changes to freezing rain. Some snow tries to get all the way up into Roanoke, D.C., and tries to ride up the coastline here, and it's actually cold enough for an all-winter weather event for areas of North Carolina points north, except near the coast, and then this system heads on off. So the latest Euro is aggressive with this. That's an aggressive look here. What about the GFS? It's not aggressive. It was, but it's not anymore. It's a little bit of a timing issue. Not as much cold air, and this is the same time frame, really, with the moisture for the most part. But I would say the heart of the system is moving in a little bit later, maybe not as much cold air, maybe more so an unfavorable time of the day. But we get into Friday afternoon. This is just a chilly rain. The northern fringe of this, you'll see some splotchy pink areas show up like right here. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain. And even though this shows as rain, this is probably a wintry mix in this area. I'm not going to take too much time looking at temperatures. But there's definitely moisture there around cold air, but it is not near as aggressive as the Euro is. Okay, so if we look at the latest Euro ensemble, and we don't have the 18Z Euro ensemble, we only have the 12Z, you're going to see the signal for snow show up here as it enters your screen here as we're getting into late Friday and a Saturday. That's for a few tenths of an inch of snow. In this area in blue, this is for an inch of snow. So I do think we could get some winter weather as we start to move into Friday morning into Saturday. The timeline is a little weird. I would call it Friday into Saturday, but there's even a signal here in Kentucky. It's not a lot. I know it's a few tenths of an inch, but I mean, it's definitely a signal, and I think it's increasing, and it kind of goes up into the mid-Atlantic a little bit. It's not very high, but there is something there. And there's a signal for freezing rain too. What you're going to see on your screen here is the percent chance to see a tenth of an inch of ice or more. And in that blue area, that's where you have over a 30% chance. This is kind of between Raleigh and the Winston-Salem, Greensboro area, getting into Danville and Roanoke up into the DC. You got, just shy of a 50% chance to see, well, I would say more so a 20 to 30, maybe in some places a 40% chance to see a tenth of an inch of freezing rain based off this Euro ensemble. So what's kind of driving this little winter weather event? And, it could potentially trend a little bit more aggressive, but this is cold air in the lower levels of the atmosphere, about a mile up. And basically, this area right here, this is a cold air source. And we're going to get this in motion. We're going to actually back it up a little bit. And as we're getting into our Friday morning, this is the latest Euro. Well, it's the 12Z Euro. This cold air source kind of gets thrown over the Northeast. This is going to provide a very cold day Thursday into Friday across the Midwest into the Northeast. So we got this cold air source that kind of gets thrown over Atlantic Canada areas of the Northeast. This helps to drive in a cold high pressure over areas of the Mid-Atlantic. And you can see it here. It's wedged in place, 1031 high. Let's actually look at the latest. So it's a little bit of a colder high pressure, just kind of one notch higher, 1032 high pressure here. And you can see the cold air damming signature right here. You see how it's kind of going like this? That is bringing cold air at the surface, and you see this area in blue, that is our low pressure coming up into that cold air at the surface. You got moisture overriding that cold air at the surface. So this could be sort of a light to moderate cold air damming winter weather event across areas of maybe the Carolinas, really North Carolina into the Mid-Atlantic. I could see this working out. A couple things we got to figure out is this cold air source up here too much. It's just too harsh that it suppresses our moisture, our low pressure, and kind of keeps it south and kind of shreds it. If you can find a timing where, this is kind of moving away and this is moving in at the same time, but there's enough cold air still around, then you kind of get what the Euro is showing. Because if you keep this in motion, this cold air source is kind of heading out. It's kind of escaping off the coast of the Northeast, but still enough there to provide some cold air damming. If you flip it back to this, you still got that in place, some winter weather showing up. So I hope that makes sense. Cold air source to the Northeast, providing a cold high pressure. It creates a wedge of cold air at the surface. Moisture overrides it, and you get something like that. In fact, when this is moving in, high pressure is a very favorable position, in my opinion. It's not a super strong high pressure, but it's actually, it works in favor because it's weak enough to not suppress this moisture. Now in South Carolina, this ain't going to work out. I think it's going to be a North Carolina points north and northeast type of deal. But who knows? We'll have to see. So what about after this? And, I will say that there is the 18Z Euro, and, let's just go back to the 12Z because we only have 144 hours out on the Euro. I do want to mention, and I know this might be a little hard to see on your screen because it's a little bit broad, but we don't need to get super uber focused on anything. Going forward, as we move past this time frame we just mentioned, I do think we're going to continue to have an aggressive northern stream. So you're going to see a lot of energy show up kind of in this area right into here. It's going to have clippers swinging down with a trough digging in. And are we going to have any tapping into the southern stream down here? A lot of northern stream energy, though. Let's keep this moving. All right, we're going to see another blob of blue here as we're getting into around this time next week. This is an aggressive clipper. It's kind of a pattern where the rich get richer. We're going to have snow falling on top of more snow. I mean, we are just freezing up this glacier up here. All right, so there's another clipper. Swings into the upper Midwest, into the Ohio Valley, all the way into the mid-Atlantic. This could bring some snow as far southeast as the mountains of North Carolina, Tennessee. We'll have to see. And then we have another aggressive-looking clipper showing up. This isn't a forecast. We're getting pretty far out. We're getting all the way out into next Tuesday and Wednesday. This is another beefed up northern stream energy, a aggressive clipper. Okay, that swings down. Could this tap into some southern stream energy, some moisture out of the Gulf? We'll have to see. This brings some snow right on your boys' vacation. Next Thursday morning, I'll be in Gatlinburg, and it actually shows it's snowing on Gatlinburg. That would just make my year. But anyways, move past that, and then after that, who knows? There's no point going past 10 days. GFS shows the same thing. We start off next Saturday. Well, you can say this coming Saturday. There's a piece of Northern Stream Energy diving in that tries to connect. I want to watch this as we get into the later portion of this coming weekend. There tries to be some sort of connection to some Southern Stream Energy in the Gulf and off the coast of the Southeast. A little bit of phasing. And there's some mischief right in here next Monday. I want to watch this. I know it shows green, but there's some cold air really close by. Another aggressive piece of Northern Stream Energy. And then here comes another one. And then I want to watch the 10th into the 12th time frame. Maybe there's a connection, a phasing right here. It looks a little bit amped up for our friends to the south. But watch what happens here. It turns into a bigger snow event across the eastern U.S. as we're getting into next weekend. And there's just a larger storm system. And we just got to watch that. And then whatever happens after that, who knows? But the end of the run shows the hounds of winter dropping down. In fact, let's just look at this. It's got me in a rig. Yeah, woof. But that's really far out, guys. And it's still kind of stuck too far north. And I mean, you look at the Canadian model too. Same thing. Northern Stream Energy dropping down. Here it comes. Here comes another piece. And then that's a big area. That's a big clipper. Sometimes these clippers can really put some snow down. And at the very end of the run, it kind of highlights the same thing as the GFS is showing. It looks like you got a piece of Northern Stream Energy about to tap into some Gulf moisture and about to have some sort of connection here. So why do we keep having so much Northern Stream Energy and not much phasing of the Southern Stream? Well, one thing I'll tell you is we have a trough really anchored in place. So the big blue area, this is a dip in the jet that is just showing up consistently, just kind of pumping in tons of cold air. So cold air is coming down just like this, reinforcing the cold air across this area. Ridge is spiking here. And what we have here is just pieces of energy kind of diving down in the backside of this trough. Now we're going to have some energy down here that kind of phases and creates something. We got to figure that out. But one thing is for sure, we're going to have plenty of Northern Stream Energy diving in with this trough. And, that trough continues to show up, the area in blue over the eastern U.S., lower pressure, broad kind of smash-looking ridge over the western U.S. We got to if you're a winter weather fan in the east, you got to get rid of this positive EPO. You need it to be warm in Alaska. It's not working in our favor. One thing that it is now blocking showing up in the higher latitudes. We call that a negative NAO, negative AO. Okay, this is kind of locking in our trough in place. But this right here is not allowing for these troughs to dig super deep. Therefore, the energy coming from the northern stream is not able to dive deep, tap into that southern stream energy. I hope that makes sense. But as we continue to move forward, some things change, and we certainly watch as the pattern relaxes. And I think it reloads, but we could have a warm-up mid-month. I could see that happening. But another way to look at all this energy in the atmosphere is kind of the smoothed out ensemble run. And you can see a lot of energy kind of diving in here. You can see another one diving in and out of Canada right there. But you're seeing a lot right here, folks. Okay? But you're not seeing a lot right here. So you really need this energy to dive down here, tap into some of this energy here, and then you can have a bigger opportunity for a winter storm. That's a lot of circles across areas of the country. And that could still happen. We got to figure it out. Okay? One thing's for sure, cold air is going to keep coming. I will tell you, this coming Thursday, here in the next couple of days into Friday, is going to be record-breaking cold, I think, across areas of the country. Would you get with a snowpack in place? I mean, those Barney colors, guys, I mean, that is off the charts colors down here. I mean, we got 25, 30 degrees below average. But the cold air sticks around. Maybe a brief warm-up into this weekend across certain areas, but the blue, greens, I mean, this is anywhere from a few degrees to several degrees, as much as 10 to 15 degrees below average in the green. So the colder air continues just to hang around with us. Get all the way into next week, colder air, colder air, colder air in the east, and it pretty much backs up what the Climate Prediction Center is saying, which is keeping it cold in the east and warm in the west. So Hey guys, we'll continue to figure this one out. Interesting times ahead. We just got to figure it all out. So I still think we're gonna have some wild times this month. It's December 1st. It's put up or shut up. So are we all gonna, face plant our predictions, or is things gonna work out? I mean, it's already an active start right now. We have it active into November with a big winter storm. So we'll see what happens. God bless all y'all. Have a wonderful night. We'll do it again tomorrow morning.